Let's bring in our next bout of the evening, Dan Busch.
Coming to the cage, it is Dan Busch to kick off our main card this evening. Ryan, what an insane undercard already. And now we make our way to the main card. Dan Busch coming by way of Seven Corners Road. Now, he is the self-professed barroom brawler.
I love it. He says that, but he's got a lot of technique to back it up, and he's been in some wars and fought long enough to work his way up to the professional ranks. So he can say he's a barroom brawler, but you got to have skill to be a professional in anything.
Absolutely. Look for him to be a typified hands up, chin down kind of guy. He wants to pressure, and he told me he is just a nice young guy who loves to throw down.
Yeah, speaking of throwdown, you talk about an exciting first part of your card. If you would have thrown down the money for admission on just those fights alone, you would have not left here unhappy. And now we're starting this main card. I am beyond jazzed for the second half of the fight card.
Absolutely. Jeremy Johnson along with my partner Ryan Sutton, live from River City Casino in St. Louis, Missouri for Shamrock FC 290. Main card is about to kick off. Speaking of, how cool is it to have the royalty of Ozzie Smith and Matt Hughes here in the house?
Let's bring out his opponent tonight, Jason Smith.
Literally, though, the absolute royalty. Ozzie Smith, Baseball Hall of Famer. Matt Hughes, UFC Hall of Famer. The level of people in the crowd tonight, we, as I said, Ultimate Fighter veterans, people who have fought in the UFC, people who have fought in Bellator, you see them all here at Shamrock FC.
Man, insane. You got Matt Hughes, like I joked about it while you were doing the interview, you have Matt Hughes challenging Ozzie Smith to do a backflip in the Shamrock cage. When does that happen?
Absolutely. As we go to our tail of the tape, the only glaring difference here is the age difference. Jason Smith, 32 years old and 5'6". Dan Busch, 28 years old and 5'9". Definitely a height and reach advantage here coming out of Dan Busch.
Yep, looks like he's going to have the advantage in that avenue. You got a self-proclaimed barroom brawler fighting somebody walking out to little Irish fight music. So this one might have all the writing for hands down, chin up, like you said.
This is one of those that could absolutely be a barn burner.
Yes, it could, man.
I love this song. It makes me want to fight every time I hear it. So let's send it up to the cage to Stephen Bear to get this one started on the main card.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, fighting out of the Metro PCS blue corner this evening. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighs in at 144.6 pounds. Fighting out of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, Dan Busch. His opponent tonight, fighting from across the cage out of the Robeck Realty red corner this evening. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighs in at 145.8 pounds, fighting out of Springfield, Illinois, Jason Smith.
Referee Mark Wassam has the call for this contest. Both of these guys giving each other the eye here. Quick touch of the gloves, and here we go. 3 5-minute rounds here in this contest. Dan Busch in the blue tape, Jason Smith in the red.
Dan Busch doing a good job already of establishing, even though those jabs aren't connecting, he's still establishing that jab to take the center. Now Smith looks to grind him up the cage with this underhook, though. And this can just be a really wearing position.
Absolutely. Smith comes running across. Busch has none of it, looking for a high double.
Yeah, now Busch really presses him in the cage. Smith looking for that guillotine. Not much on it right now, but using it to threaten to avoid that takedown. But deep takedown attempt right now by Busch. And
Nice
gets it.
one. Trying to step over here into side control is Busch.
Yeah, crowding the hips too.
Oh!
Wow.
That, sir, was a beautiful hip throw.
Yeah, head and arm throw out of nowhere. Fantastic.
Working the submission here is Jason Smith.
Yeah, really wrenching that elbow and wrist. And that almost that head and arm into an Americana. What an unorthodox choke. An unorthodox submission attempt to see, but it keeps getting tighter and tighter.
Absolutely. The big thing that you see with head and arms is sometimes you give up your back, but obviously Jason Smith, somebody has taught him well the way to pull that one around.
Oh, yeah, he settled in perfect after that throw. Man, beautiful, beautiful head and arm throw.
Nice side control position here is Jason Smith.
Well, actually, we talked about earlier why they call moves. I know why they call that one the head and arm, but you're a judoku by trade. What is
Yes,
it?
I am. That was actually an Ogoshi hip throw.
Ogoshi, okay. Now you tell me why they call it that.
Because some Japanese guy said, hip wheel, works for me.
I love it. Yeah, good head and arm control right now coming from Jason Smith. A lot of top pressure. There are those knees we see from side control, too, that can be really, really effective.
Smith doing a good job here of controlling the posture and position of Dan Busch on the ground. This is just absolutely Jason Smith making this a dogfight and keeping it grinding. Again, with those knees to the body, those are vicious to the rib cages. We are down to just 2 minutes remaining here in this first round.
Yeah, after that head and arm throw, he has been all over him. And that was smart right there, even just that little redirect. He saw Busch was getting froggy on the cage, was going to maybe use his feet to crawl up, change position, and just pulled him out a little bit to settle him in and maintain this perfect side control. Looks like Jason Smith is going to probably try to isolate an arm. He's got this underhook. He crawled across. He's bailed on a little bit now, but looked like for a minute there he's going to go back to isolating an arm.
Yeah, at this point in time, he is literally just wearing on Dan Busch, making himself heavy, making Busch have to carry it, and then eating those knees to the ribs on the bottom. Trying to step over here.
Yeah, Busch did a smart job of avoiding that full mount, just creating a block to where Smith wasn't able to just jump right into mount.
Under 1 minute remaining here in the first round. All Jason Smith here with the top pressure from side control.
And Busch has a chance. Oh, Busch just had a chance right there. He had an underhook. He could have used that to crawl up, but Smith just pummels right back in from the top.
Underhooks are so important in this game, especially from the bottom, trying to get out. Under 30 seconds remaining in round one.
Yeah, you got to be able to establish that underhook control from top or bottom pressure to be able to really get anything going.
Busch trying to wall walk here. 10 seconds remaining. This fight has been all Jason Smith in the first round. We can talk about a potential 10-8 here on the control.
Yeah, I mean, a round like that, some of the judges, since I don't want to call it not sexy, but since it's not a sexy round, they might not score 10-8 with a lot of damage. But if you want to be technical about all the control, absolutely. Huge throw and spent about the better part of 4 minutes on top of him.
Speaking of huge throw, I got to see that one in our instant replay.
Oh, me too. Scrambled, got back to his feet, and then just launched him. I got to see that again, too.
Here we go with that instant replay. Quick struggle up, looks for that arm. Oh, actually, excuse me. That would be almost more of a Haraya Goshi throw there.
Okay.
Yes, if we're gonna go technical old school Japan.
I need to know these things, Jeremy. I need to know these things.
One of my particular favorites there. Now, if you were in the corner of Dan Busch, what kind of advice are you gonna give him there? He's got to do something.
You know, I'd say really, if you do consider yourself, hey, I'm a bar and brawl guy, you know, look to get your striking game going, because Jason Smith is obviously someone who's proven you don't want him on top of you.
Round 2, no touch of the gloves.
None.
Jason Smith walked across and punched Dan Busch right in the mouth.
Yeah, blast.
There is no other sexy thing I could say about it. He walked across and punched him in the mouth, and now he is ground and pounding him.
Yeah, that is the only technical way to put it, whether you're in Japan or America. Blasted in the mouth. Yeah, stepped right into that, and again, right into side control. This could be a long night for Dan Busch in this position.
A lot of pressure from the top is Jason Smith. He literally, this is all about control here. He's not doing a whole lot of damage, but because he is in such a dominant position, again, now starting to look for that Americana on the left side.
Yeah, he's got that Americana isolated again. Doesn't really have, I thought he had it a little deeper, but he was really just got some wrist control there deep.
Looking now, a couple of short elbows. But right now, this is all about top position control, and Jason Smith is doing it to perfection.
Yes, he is. He's got good control there from, or behind his head, I should say, so he can't bridge up. Now he steps over in a full mount. That's what he was looking for in that first round that he couldn't quite get. He just nailed it, and let's see what he does with this heavy mount.
This is a bad position for Dan Busch. He's trying to work out. He's going to give up his back.
Yeah, very strong Jason Smith looks like with his hips, with his top pressure. He just flattened him out.
Again, takes the back here. Working for that rear naked choke. 3 minutes remaining. I figured he would try to soften him up here a little bit more instead of immediately jumping into the choke.
Yeah, he did rush that pulling finish a little bit, but he's still got Busch in a world of potential danger here. Let's see what Busch's submission defense looks like.
A huge neck cranker. Oh, it's under the chin.
Deep.
He's fighting those hands halfway through round 2.
Deep choke. Good grit by Dan Busch to even fight the hands to peel him off to that point. And what an exhausting position for both guys. Busch used it to sweep and get on top himself.
Great move there from Dan Busch. Now wants to institute a little damage of his own.
Yeah, make him pay for some of that time that he spent on his own back. Now takes the back of Jason Smith. And Smith is completely flattened out. This is not a great position by any means.
At all. Referee Mark Wassam right on top of the action here.
And you wonder if Smith blew his wad, really trying to force those scrambles, because he's offering nothing from the bottom right now.
Mark Wassam is going to call this contest.
Wow, what a turnaround. What a turnaround win by Dan Busch.
With a not-so-good backflip, but hey.
That was not Ozzie Smith-esque.
Not in the least.
No. And I'm actually looking at Ozzie Smith laughing at it.
Yeah, Ozzie's like, yeah, no, wait a minute, that wasn't good. Not at all.
Not so much. Not so much. All right. Not so much.
As we go to our instant replay here, big hammers coming out of Dan Busch.
He says he gives it a 5.
Absolutely.
Out of 20. Man, though, yeah, what a quick turnaround, though. You know, I really think that Jason Smith might have kind of rushed that submission attempt a little bit, blew his energy some, and then just, man, whenever Busch had the opportunity to get on top of him, made the most of it, just flattened him out and created a lot of damage.
Absolutely, an incredibly tough fight. Jason Smith maintaining all of the action for really most of the fight. Dan Busch hits a great sweep, And next thing you know, boom, he is winning the fight.
Yep. Big turnaround, big win from Dan Busch.
As we say, though, you can never count anyone out in the world of mixed martial arts, and that right there is the exact reason why.
Exactly. So many ways to actually ways to lose in this sport. I mean, a lot of ways to just have the tide of a fight change, and you saw one right then and there.
Crazy, crazy finish to kick off the main card here at Shamrock FC 290. Jeremy Johnson along with Ryan Sutton. It's time to get our final results.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has ended. 3 minutes and 10 seconds of round number 2. Your winner by TKO due to strikes out of the blue corner, Dan Busch.
Big win come from behind for Dan Busch.
Yes,
absolutely amazing finish there. And Ryan, that's just kicking off the card.
Yeah, that's just an opening night. Big throws, big turnaround finishes to start off this main card.
But coming up next, it is the fight everyone's talking about, including Matt Hughes, as Scott Etling will take on Arian Zekthi coming up next.